Hello and welcome to another session of Seller Express powered by Payoneer and DHL Express. It gives me immense pleasure to bring about some of the key domain partners along in the field of taxation, logistics, and payments, and talk about key categories that are impacted by different export that are very important for Indian exporters in e-commerce and wholesale exports domain. Uh, in this edition of Seller Express, we are going to talk about handicrafts as an industry. Handicrafts as an industry is something that Indian exporters have found a niche, and there is a very specific set of customers that value the Make in India products arising from the handicrafts as a domain. So I'm very excited to bring about speakers from Payoneer, speakers from DHL Express, and Purushottam and Associates, who will be talking and taking us through the payments, taxation, compliance, and logistics as different domains that are impacted by the exporters. So before I move forward and introduce the speakers to you, just one request, while the session would be on, please share in your questions, your feedbacks in the Q&A section, and we'll take the questions at the end of the session. And also at the end of the session, you will find a feedback form through which you can either reach out to any specific partner of ours, or you can also share your feedback about the session as well. So moving forward, the first speaker for today is Mr. Vivek Pineda. Mr. Vivek Pineda is the e-commerce lead for Payoneer in India. And over to you, Vivek.
Thanks, Vikram. I'll just share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vivek, and I lead the e-commerce sales team for Payoneer in India. I have been associated for Payoneer for almost 1.5 years now, and prior to this, I have been associated with brands like Snapdeal and Room, mostly in the customer-facing roles, where the prime role has been around the new customer acquisition side. Welcome everyone in this session of Seller Express. In the next 10 to 12 minutes, I'll be taking you through some of the insights that we have gathered over the years through our relationships with the sellers who are present in the handicraft exports domain, and also the relationships that we have had across marketplaces and industry leaders around handicrafts. Moving on. So Payoneer, at the core of it, we are a cross-border payment solutions company. We work with all sort of exporters, be wholesale exporters, be e-commerce exporters, be service exporters, and through our relationships that we have with a lot of these customers, we have around 4 million plus customers across the globe. We have relationships with more than 2,000 marketplaces and platforms through which our customers can get their payments seamlessly into their Indian bank accounts. And likewise, we have gathered this knowledge or the experience that we are going to share with you today. Just a little bit more on the Payoneer product side. Our receiving accounts that we have are integratable with more than 2,000 marketplaces and platforms. We are present in more than 200 countries, and with a physical presence in about 24 countries where we have offices. Moving on and sharing insights on the handicraft ecosystem, the export ecosystem that we have. When we talk about the handicraft export ecosystem, it's a very, very vast category, which includes product lines from woodenware to kitchenware to home decorative items to nautical products, metal products, and the combined value of exports that has happened in the last financial year from overall this industry segment. When we talk about, it's $3.4 billion, and that's growing continuously. We are reaching out to newer markets, the exporters are reaching out to newer markets, and the product lines are also increasing. when we talk about the number of people that we have, which are directly or indirectly involved in the handicraft export ecosystem, we have about 7 million of these artisans and craftsmen and hand job printing work jobbers that are there. And 47% of these employees are women employees. And you will find these employees in the smallest of the Indian towns, which includes Varanasi, Bulandshahr, and likewise, where the product niches have been chalked out in the Indian export domain, in the Indian handicraft export domain. When we speak about the reach that we have today, we export to more than 130 plus countries. Our product skewness may be there in some of the top markets, but then overall we have a reach to about 130 plus countries where the overall handicraft export is happening to. Moving on, I would like to touch upon a little bit in detail about the strengths and the competition that we face in the handicraft export domain today. As I spoke about it in the previous slide, handicraft as a domain or a product category includes various product lines or subcategories in itself. So woodware is one, hand-printed textiles, including imitation jewelry, the nautical products, art metal products that I was talking about, embroidered goods. These are some of the product lines that are widely accepted across the globe, and India has been a major hub for these products. Now, when we talk about handcrafted work or the embellishment products, that's a key strength of ours. These products are manufactured in the smallest of towns in India, which includes Varanasi or Bulandshahr or Jaipur. And these products are exported across the globe and liked across by the foreign population present. When we talk about the Indian artwork, it is not just liked by the NRI population outside India, but also the foreign population in these countries has a strong affinity towards the Indian artwork related products. Moving on, why this has been a growth journey for Indian handicraft export ecosystem is that the government is very vocal about promoting exports and has provided a decent infrastructure and institutional support with trade bodies such as EPCH, EPC, FIO coming in and which help Indian exporters on the infrastructure and institution side of it. So government has been coming up with various schemes, which I will talk about in my further slides also. Also, what we have seen is that there is an increased demand for direct to consumer handicraft products in some of the major global markets. And all of this is a key strength for us, which is pushing the overall handicraft ecosystem towards a growth journey. Talking about the competition that we face today, particularly from the Southeast Asian countries, where on the woodenware products and that also on the bamboo-based products, there is an increased competition just because of the cheap raw material availability and overall price competitiveness that they have on the finished goods product side also. When we talk about the hollow metal products or the nautical equipments, we face a stiff competition from China and the South Korean markets. Also, there is a stronger infrastructure support in some of these competition markets. That's also has been a major roadblock or a competition for us, not a major roadblock, but a competition side for us. And I'll talk about it in my next slide, but the government has been coming up with various schemes to promote exports. Also, as I spoke in my previous slide also, our skewness of handicrafts is particularly towards the top 10 Western markets. 60% of our exports happen in the top 10 markets out of the 130 plus countries that we export to, which also means that there is a greater opportunity present for us to export to newer markets, to find out newer markets and export to these countries. Moving on, I'll be discussing about what has been the impact of COVID on the overall handicraft ecosystem or the handicraft industry, export industry as well. So if we see the growth trend, we would see that there is a stagnant or a no growth in the last financial year. But we need to be wary of the fact that 2% growth, year-on-year growth was achieved with just 9 months of working. There was a 3 months complete lean period, complete lockdown period where the supply chain lines were disrupted. There was major labor migration that happened in India, and due to this, we just achieved this growth trajectory in just a 9-month period working. Also, what we have seen is that particularly from the US market, we witnessed a 12% growth in demand for handicraft products. So while there was a pandemic, there were some product lines which were increasing, which had an increased demand. And that's particularly because in categories such as kitchenware, which includes the printed utensils, etc., and home decorative items such as lamps, etc., while people were spending more of their time in home and not moving out, work from home was happening. These are some of the categories that witnessed higher growth. And these are the new categories gaining more prominence across the handicraft export industry. What we also forecast, or what the forecast is, that in the current financial year 22, again a 12% growth is forecasted. One of the major drawback of the COVID or the pandemic was that government discontinued the merchandise export from India scheme, MEIS, in January 2021, which was related to the refund of the duties and taxes towards export shipments. While this was stopped, there were newer set of initiatives and certain growth drivers that were introduced by the government. And very recently, the government has come up with some of the key initiatives, which I'm going to speak about in the next slide. So moving on, here are some of the regulatory growth drivers for the handicraft ecosystem, or the overall to promote the exports from India. So government has come up with a incentive scheme of about 2.8 crore to promote particularly the handicraft of Varanasi. This scheme was introduced by the Ministry of Textiles to overcome the challenges which were faced by the craftsmen and the small workers there in Varanasi, who are associated with the handicraft export ecosystem. Again, RODTEP is something which you guys would be listening. It is very recent. This was announced by government. RODTEP is remission of duties and taxes on the export products. This scheme has been introduced very recently on 17th of August, which relates to refunding the currently unrefunded taxes at the central, state, and the local level on the exported products. So as the MEIS was discontinued in January 2021, now the government has come up with RODTEP to overcome that part. Also, EPCH, which is the Export Promotion Council for Handicrafts, is discussing a major warehousing proposal. Now, through this scheme, what the EPCH aims is to that they would allow the exporters from India to store their products locally in the foreign countries, which would increase the just-in-time approach and have increased market share of wallet from the buyers. So buyers would be able to get the products early on, and that would have a growth impact overall on the industry. Also, there is a scheme, interest equalization scheme, which has been extended, which particularly focuses on manufacturing and merchant exporters, and gives a 3% subsidy on pre and post shipment rupee credit for exports on about 416 listed products that the government has under this scheme. Moving on, I'll be sharing some of the trends that are expected, which are shaping up the handicraft industry in the current year of 2021. What we have seen is that there has been a major customer shift. Like I said in my previous slides, Due to the pandemic phase, while people are spending more time in their homes, newer categories are gaining more prominence. For example, kitchenware and home decorative products. These are gaining more prominence as compared to the more commercially viable products. So there is a customer shift that is happening from the buying preference side of the customers. Also, what we have seen is that there is a digital leap that is happening. People are preferring to buy more from the online retail stores rather than the offline brick and mortar stores. So that's also an impact of the COVID-19 or the pandemic phase. So that also relates to the fact that today, if you are just selling to offline markets, probably it's the right time for you to explore newer channels, newer segments for your products, and start thinking about moving your sales or starting your new stores on different marketplace options that are available in foreign markets for you. Also, the GIT product buying from retail units is a major industry disruption that is expected in this current year of 2021. Moving on, I'll be speaking about how Payoneer is helping the Indian handicraft export as an industry, and how we will be able to, through our product features. I'll be discussing about the product features and overall ecosystem that we have, which not only helps you on the payment side, but also fuels your complete growth journey, helps to scale up your business. So as I said, we are associated with more than 2,000 marketplaces across the globe. We have agency partners on the account management side, and partners who would help you set up your stores online. So if you are an offline exporter or a wholesale exporter today, and you wish to start your online journey, probably Payoneer would be the right place and we would be able to introduce you to the right set of people who could help you set up your online store in various marketplaces. Or else, if you are just selling on any one of the marketplaces, for example, if you're just selling on Amazon.com today and you wish to start your another store on Lazada or a Walmart or a Wish or a Jumia, we could introduce you to the right set of people who can help you set up your stores in these marketplaces. Talking about the product features that we have, so Payoneer as a company, we give you local currency collection accounts in various currencies. For example, once you sign up on Payoneer, you can have a US dollar account number which is in your company's name. Similarly, you can have a GBP account in UK. You can have a Euro account with Citibank in Europe, and these accounts can be integrated further with a lot of marketplaces. Also, if you have payers in these countries, these payers can pay you locally into these accounts through ACH, BACS, and SEPA transfers, which are equivalent of NEFT and RTGS transfers in India. Payoneer also lets you pay through multiple formats. So for example, if you have a payer who wants to pay you through a credit card, Payoneer has a feature through which you can raise a payment request to this person, and the person can get an automated payment link, and just by clicking on this link, we allow the person to pay through a credit card or an e-check. Also, if you are planning to set up your entity outside India, or you need any assistance on the taxation and documentation part of it, we can introduce you to the right set of people who are our agency partners, who would help you set up your foreign entities or your VAT registration numbers. Also, if you want to pay your VAT, we can help you in that on that side also. So overall, Payoneer provides you the whole gamut of services, not just the payment solutions, which would help you scale up your business from today. If you are at X place, to reach to a 2X or a 3X, we can help you introduce you to the right set of people in this journey. Moving on, I'll be playing this video, which is a VOC from one of our customers from a very small town in North India, Roorkee. So I'll just play the video.
ऑफ द रिंग्स, ग्लैडिएटर, ट्रॉय, ये सब हॉलीवुड की बहुत फेमस मूवीज़ हैं और हमें इस बात का बहुत प्राउड है कि ये सब मूवीज़ की कॉस्ट्यूम्स, प्रॉप्स वगैरह रुड़की जैसे छोटे से शहर से बन के गए। 1991 से मैंने अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया एक छोटी सी एनग्रेविंग मशीन से, जिसमें मेरा पहला ऑर्डर एक टेलीस्कोप और सनडायल कंपासेस का था और वहाँ से स्टार्ट करके आज हम दुनिया के सभी कंट्रीज़ में, यूएस, यूरोप, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, सभी जगह हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं और उसी छोटे से सफ़र से आज इतना बड़ा सफ़र हमने तय किया। नॉटिकल मार्ट 180 मेंबर्स की फैमिली है, कास्टिंग से लेके पैकेजिंग तक का सभी काम इन हाउस करते हैं। असली बूस्ट हमारा 2000 में आया जब ई-कॉमर्स लॉन्च हुआ और हमने अपना ईबे स्टोर और अमेज़न स्टोर्स ओपन किए। रुड़की जैसे छोटे शहर से क्रॉस बॉर्डर बिजनेस करना बहुत चैलेंजिंग था और बहुत सारी डॉक्यूमेंट्स की प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं बैंक्स की या अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस की, जिसको सॉल्व करने के लिए आपको कोई ना कोई एक मददगार की ज़रूरत होती है। तो पेयोनियर उसमें हमारा एक बहुत अच्छा मददगार बन के आया है, जिसने हमारे ई कॉमर्स बिजनेस को एक फैसिलिटीज़ दे दी है जिससे कि हमारे वो सारे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एक ही जगह हो। हमें पेयोनियर ने इंटरनेशनल अकाउंट नंबर्स प्रोवाइड किए, जिसमें यूएसए, कनाडा, यूरोप और यूके, इन सब कंट्रीज़ के लिए आपके अपने ही अकाउंट पेयोनियर प्रोवाइड करा। पेयोनियर ने हमारी ट्रांजैक्शन को बहुत सिक्योर बना दिया है। इन्होंने डिजिटल FIRC को इतना इजी कर दिया जिसके लिए हमारे महीनों लग जाते थे, बहुत टाइम ख़राब होता था और उसको हम इजीली इमीडिएटली पेमेंट आती नेक्स्ट डे हम डाउनलोड कर सकते। अब डिस्टेंस हमारे लिए कोई मायने नहीं रखती है, रुड़की हो, मुंबई हो, दिल्ली हो या फिर US अमेरिका हो। मेरा एक सपना था कि मैं रुड़की को अपने प्रोडक्ट्स के ज़रिए से एक इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में फेमस करूं। पेयोनियर ने हमें वो हेल्प की है, सपोर्ट दी है कि जिससे आज इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में हम एक ब्रांड बने।
So that was on the VOC side. You saw how Payoneer has been helping a lot of sellers like Mr. Sajid from Roorkee to expand their business in the foreign markets and helping at every possible step on the documentation side, also on giving the lot of intelligence and inputs on how to expand the business. So that's all from my side. As an offer, if you register through this link, which is visible on the screen as of now, to register on Payoneer and to start your export journey, export payments journey, we have an offer of receiving a $50 cashback on receipt of first $1,000 payments from Payoneer side. That's all from my side for today. Thanks everyone for attending the session.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vivek. And it was pretty interesting to see the kind of initiatives that the government is taking and the headway in wins that we are seeing specifically in the handicrafts market. So if you are interested in asking further set of questions to Vivek, would request you to share your question and answers in the Q&A section, and possibly Vivek can take it as we are going along. While Vivek was mentioning some of his slides, I think he touched upon some of the key impacts on the taxation front that is being taken by Government of India. And also lately, with regards to the, there have been a lot of changes in the EU and US taxation with regards to the handicraft as a market. Next, I have Mr. Manmohan Nima from Purushottam and Associates. He's a partner in Purushottam and Associates and would be taking us through different taxation and compliance related slides on handicraft as a market. Over to you, Manmohan.
Thank you, Vikramji. Thank you, Vivekji, for such a wonderful presentation about Payoneer. Hello, everyone. So I'll be presenting on taxation and compliance part for handicraft items. So let me just share my screen, please. So I hope you all are able to see my screen. So I'll move on to my slides right now. So these are some of the prerequisites for exports. In case if you are making exports from India, you should have these basic things ready first. importer-exporter code, which can be made available from DGFT portal. So one can visit a DGFT portal and needs to apply for the IEC registration. For this, one should have PAN number ready with him. And of course, in case if it is a company or a LLP, one is required to have the digital signature also. So as per the recent changes, this is required to be renewed annually. Second is AD code registration with port of export. So you might have heard that every bank which is dealing in foreign currency is having its own authorized dealer code, which is issued by the RBI. So in order to start your exports, you should get your bank's AD code number registered with the port of export with your name. So that is another pre-requirement. Third is GST registration along with letter of undertaking. LUT means letter of undertaking, and by this, in case if you have letter of undertaking with you, so you need not to charge GST upfront on your shipping bill. I mean, government gives a benefit on exports that the exporters are not required to charge GST upfront, or they'll get the refund of the GST paid on their shipping bill. So in case if you need not to charge GST upfront on a shipping bill, then you should have letter of undertaking with you. This again can be generated on the GST portal itself, and it is valid for whole of the financial year. So then, of course, the shipping bill formality. So we have seen some of the exporters, I mean, sending the goods on sample basis. That is not recommended at all. So you should consult with your logistic partners, and you should have a valid shipping bill for each of your export shipment. The second part is on invoicing. We do get some queries on invoices. The people may do ask that what should be the details on the invoicing. So they are sending to the FBA in Amazon, and they do not know to whom the goods will be sold ultimately after the, because I mean, while sending the goods, the buyer is not recognized at that particular point of time. So we suggest them that there should be care of Amazon's detail should be there in the consignee detail. I mean, Amazon US's detail as a care of should be mentioned in the consignee's detail. With this, I mean, the banks can recognize that this is the transaction which is done on the e-commerce portal, specifically on Amazon. And then, of course, as and when the remittance will come from the Amazon, then bank can reconcile, or bank can settle the shipping bill, outstanding shipping bill, with the detail of the Amazon itself in the buyer's column, and close the outstanding entry on its system. So these are the direction given by the RBI itself to the AD banks, that in case of any e-commerce sales, the banks need not to go into the details of the exact buyer. The banks can close the entries by mentioning the details of the portal itself, which is Amazon in this particular example. Second question we get about what should be the value when sending the goods. So what we suggest to the sellers is like they should forecast their expected remittance. Say, I mean, they are listing a product at 100 USD, and they know that Amazon's fee will be deducted to the extent of 30 USD from that particular shipment. So the sellers are required to put in the value as a 70 USD, which is the net remittance. So the expected remittance which is gonna come into seller's account should be mentioned as a value in the shipping bill. With this, sellers will be feeling easy while closing the shipping bill with the banks, and they'll get the BRC for that. Then FB accounting, there is a concept of FIRC and BRC. FIRC is at remittance level, which Vivek has very well explained in their earlier slides. I mean, in case if you're using Payoneer, then you will get the FIRC on its dashboard itself, or FIRA, foreign inward remittance advice. With this, you will be able to prove that you have brought in forex remittance into India. So, so of course, I mean, this will again serve as a proof when you will be able to settle your shipping bill with the bank. For an example, in case your shipping bill is of 10,000 USD, and you are getting remittances in parts for that particular shipping bill, say 10 into 1,000 USD. So you should have 10 FIRCs for each of your for each of your remittances. Like in our case, it is 1,000 USD into 10. You should have 10 FIRCs. And of course, after getting these 10 FIRCs, these 10 FIRCs will help you to get BRC. BRC is like bank realization certificate, which will serve as a proof that you have realized your shipping bill in full, and you'll get it from the bank again. So I mean, these 10 FIRCs will be serve as a proof to get the BRC from your bank again. And of course, with this exercise, you will be able to close your transaction, and you will be compliant with the FEMA. And of course, the BRC will serve as a proof in order to apply for road tax scheme also in future. So BRC is issued electronically by the banks by closing the entry in EDPMS system. And then, of course, it will be helpful to get the benefits of the DGFT and government export schemes. Next slides are about taxation in destination marketplaces. So you might have heard of the term importer on record. So it is a basic requirement. I mean, in this particular slide, we are speaking about USA. So it is a basic requirement in USA in case of your shipment valuing is above 2,500 USD. So for every shipment which is valuing above 2,500 USD, there is a channel which is the formal clearance for which import declaration is required to be filed at US Customs. So in order to get these goods imported in US Customs, you should engage someone acting as an importer on record for your shipment. And of course, with this, you will be able to get the clearance from US Customs. Then regarding taxes in USA, I mean, we come across the question that whether the seller is required to pay any kind of taxes like VAT, sales tax in USA or not. In USA, I mean, when a seller is sending the goods from India in MFN mode, in a merchant fulfillment mode, where he's not storing goods, particularly in destination marketplace, in that case, I mean, the sale contract happens when the goods are placed in India. So the taxability as such doesn't accrue on that particular transaction. So you need not to worry about the sales tax in the destination marketplace for MFN kind of transactions. But for FBA, one can come up with the view that when the goods are sold through FBA, the goods are placed in destination marketplace, and hence there might be the chance of getting into the virtue of foreign taxes and foreign sales taxes. But in USA again, there is a marketplace taxation system which is being implemented by federal government, which states that I mean this taxation burden and the collection of the taxation burden is being shifted to Amazon only or a marketplace only through which sales and purchase are happen. So seller itself need not to get any kind of sales tax registration in USA and need not to pay any kind of taxes or need not to file any kind of taxes there. All these exercises are being conducted by the marketplace portal itself, which is Amazon in our example. Taxes in EU and UK. Of course, UK is separate from EU from 1st Jan onwards. These are, I mean, kind of technical if we compare to US marketplace, because over here sellers are required to get VAT registrations in the destination marketplace where they are storing goods in order to resell those goods on the e-commerce portals. So taxes in EU and UK, I mean, there's another concept being introduced from 1st July onwards, which is IOSS, which is the full form of which is Importers One-Stop Shop. I mean, this is helpful wherein a seller is sending a shipment which is below 150 euro and which is again for MFN purpose only. I mean, this shipment, in case if seller is sending a shipment for AFN, Amazon fulfillment, and storing it into the Amazon warehouse, then IOSS number is not required. But in case if shipment is to be sold to customer directly, and this is valuing below 150 euros, then of course the seller is required to have IOSS number, and this can be generated from, or this can be come to known to seller from Amazon portal itself. So Amazon, for every shipment which is below 150 euros and which is to be sent on MFN model, so Amazon is providing its own IOSS number to sellers to get the clearance from the portal. VOSS is VAT one-stop shop. With this, I mean, scheme, sellers can have one number, which is VOSS number. Of course, this is not an alternative to the VAT number. Sellers should have the VAT registration in the territory in which they are storing the goods. So, but by using this one common number VOSS, seller can file returns in EU marketplace on a one portal. Seller need not to file again and again on each portal, say France, Italy, and Spain. With VOSS in place, sellers can use one country as a base and file all the transactions for each country in that portal itself. So this is the benefit of this VOSS scheme. Then, of course, VAT registration for AFN, we have spoken about that sellers are required to get the VAT registration in which they are storing their goods in order to resell. And then payment of taxes by Amazon. From now onwards, Amazon is paying the taxes or withholding the taxes for sellers in AFN specifically, and paying to the government there. So in case if you are a seller, your taxes are being withheld by the Amazon for AFN sales, and these are directly paid to the government there. But of course, as a seller, you are paying import taxes in these countries, and of course, you need to get the refund of these import taxes paid. So for that to happen, you need to file your returns properly. Then there are some specific requirements for handicraft sellers on a compliance part. You might have heard of it, TSCA Act, which is Toxic Substance Control Act in USA. In case if your products are wooden products, so you will be asked by the custom authorities in USA for TSCA declaration, so which is to be provided by your IOR. So which states that the product doesn't include any kind of toxic substance or any kind of toxic chemical. There is a certain kind of list of chemicals as per TSCA. So your product should not carry that chemical. Then of course CPC certificate. This is a child product care certificate, which is to be again issued by IOR in case if your products are intended to be used by children which are below 12 years of age. This declaration is to be filed by the IOR. And secondly, as per the regulations of CPSCA, the products which are intended to be used by children are required to be tested for certain tests through CPSCA affiliated lab. So these are the two compliance which we can think of, which will be helpful for handicraft sellers before they send their shipment there. And of course, in case if seller is required to give these kind of declarations in US customs, then IOR will be mandatory irrespective of the value of the shipment, which we have spoken about, which is 2,500 for general category products. Export benefits. You might have heard of duty drawback, which is around 2% of the FOB value of the shipment. So these are the export benefit, which is direct liquid benefit being offered by customs authorities of India. So as and when you are sending the shipment through cargo mode, after properly filing of your shipping bill, you will be getting 2% of FOB value of your exports in your bank account directly. So this is the duty drawback. Second, road tax, again, it has been very well explained by Vivek in his slides. So the rates are being notified by now. On 17th of August, you can check these rates on dgft.gov.in portal, Appendix 4 in particularly. So you can check what rates are applicable to your product. And of course, this is not a direct liquid benefit. Once you apply for it, you will get a duty-free script from DGFT, which can be used to make payments of import duties in case if you are importing goods into India yourself. And secondly, in case if you are not importing goods into India yourself, this can be transferred to any importer at any negotiated rates, which can be 97% or 98%. Input tax credit refund. So in case if you are a seller selling goods into and making exports into any other destination marketplaces, then you will be eligible to get input tax credit refunds for GST paid on procurements of your goods. So in case if you are using LUD, you are not paying any kind of GST upfront on your shipping bills. And then, of course, there will be some import or there will be some GST lying in your credit ledger of your GST account for your purchases. So that can be claimed as a refund against your export sales. This has to be applied again to the GST department by filing a form which is known as RFD01 form from the GST portal. And then, of course, the documents with respect to these exports are required to be presented physically to the department authorities, and hence you can claim this benefit. So that's it from my side. So in case if there are any Q&As, you can, of course, post on into this Q&A segment. And over to Vikramji, please.
Thanks a lot, Manmohan. There are a lot of questions coming on the taxation part, so I would request you to just answer many of those. So we'll move forward. Manmohan, could you please stop sharing your screen? Yeah. Sure. So the next speaker in line possibly is what we'll call as the growth driver for any e-commerce as well as cross-border business, and that definitely would be logistics. And who better to talk about logistics than DHL Express? So I have Mr. Sujay Raj, who will be taking us through the specific things about handicraft as a category from a logistical angle. Over to you, Sujay.
Yeah, thanks, Vikram. Good afternoon, all. Through this global pandemic, we have seen how supply chain has been put under a lot of strain. Besides that, DHL continues to work with our customers, help them grow their business, and also kept innovating and a lot of solutions through this pandemic in terms of growing their business and doing the exports, helping them in exports. What I'll be taking through in the next 20 minutes is we will see how the e-commerce trends are and how the industry is doing. I'll be talking about the role of logistics in e-commerce journey and help you to see how you can grow your business. And we'll also talk about how DHL, our proposition are for e-commerce industry for handicrafts. If we look at cross-border e-commerce, the emerging trend, the industry is expected to reach around 6.5 trillion by 2023, which is 3 times the figure of 2018. This is actually growing at a rapid pace of around 11%. So today's scenario, there's a lot of customers today wants to get everything at their fingertips at anywhere at any given point of time. So the trend is also changing that how the e-commerce business is growing. We all know that everything was already moving online, but however, in the last few years, that is the last 1 year, because of the pandemic, everything has changed. A decade of growth has happened in just few weeks. If you look at the last 8 years, the growth was stagnant, which is around 10 to 11%. But however, since 2019, in the last 1 year, if you see, the growth has actually gone up exponentially around 31%. So this is the scenario that we have seen because of pandemic, where everybody is hooked on to online, ordering online, and hence the e-commerce business has grown to that potential and the opportunity is immense. Before I get on to what are the consumer products, this is some key message that I wanted to leave here is before COVID-19, if you look at the shopping experiences which were happening, 30% were happening on mobile and smartphones. There's a lot of in-store shopping happening before pandemic, that is the COVID-19, around 47%. What has changed after the COVID-19 outbreak? 45% of respondents say that they have started shopping on their mobile phone. I mean, this is true, right? I mean, if you look at today's scenario, that everybody, because they are largely at home, that anything that they want to purchase, they're using their mobile phones to do online shopping. So that's the change that we have seen due to the global pandemic. Now we saw about B2B, B2C e-commerce and how big is the industry. We should also look at how B2B e-commerce is valued today, which is around 12.2 trillion in 2019. This is expected to reach around 20.9 trillion by 2017. So this is just not about the B2C e-commerce business. It is also about B2B e-commerce because this industry is larger than the B2C e-commerce. It's even more larger than the cross-border e-commerce. So the growth here is quite huge. So this is a great opportunity even for the B2B e-commerce, and we are prepared to handle this journey of getting the B2B e-commerce as well. Let's look at the market opportunity. What are the fastest growing premium sectors? These are traditionally fashion, electronics are the dominant products. I mean, these were already there in the e-commerce sector. But however, what we have seen in the recent times is that it's just not about fashion and technology. Some of the high growth potential sectors are home decor, beauty and cosmetics, pet care, sporting good retailers, and handicraft is what we are discussing about. These are all the growth potential sectors that are actually growing more than 25% since the recent time. So the opportunity is real because they are growing at 25% across all products. Now, if you look at handicraft export specifically, which is look at the country-wise market share, what I would like to take to you here is that the potential for handicraft is huge because this is again under the fastest growing product sector. The market for handicraft is, if you look at the major share, exports are happening to US, which is around 42%. So be it any product share, it could be your miscellaneous art and crafts, wooden wares or art wares or metal wares. Everything has a high potential today in cross-border. So it is the right time, and here the demand for handicrafts is also huge. What is the opportunity for you for our handicrafts here is everybody can benefit through this revolution that we have seen, regardless of size of the business. Yeah, but if you have an international shipping option here, which is just a low cost, for getting an international shipping here, and by having an international shipping, we have seen that that you will have a more higher shopping cart value. We have seen that cross-border e-commerce business is actually growing twice at the rate of what the domestic market is. So this is the right time for you to get into the international market with having an international option. Some of the motivation of why consumers buy or why consumers purchase from products from abroad are better availability of the product, service offering that you can have, and the trust. Price is the main factor, I understand, but price is not the only reason. It's important to have a better availability. You need to have your own USP of the product that you can offer, which can stand out and differentiate from the others. That will help you in terms of by consumer purchase from your website. It's also important to have a reliable logistics service provider who will help you in this journey to help you for growing your businesses to the international market, because last mile is something that is key. So this is the trust that you can build in with a reliable service partner. That will help in terms of motivations for customers to buy. What make consumer buy from you specifically? Some research what we have seen is 68% of millennials today choose an e-tailer based on better customer experience. They do not want low return rates, and also having a good delivery options. Yeah, it's important to have a great last mile delivery options, which will help consumers to buy from you. So the recent study that we have seen in the logistics and delivery is considered the most problematic pain point in cross-border e-commerce. So to have this three facts right, to get these three facts right, you need to have a great last mile delivery option. Having said that, in today's scenario, if you want to get into cross-border and international, it's important to have a premium shipping, which is a must-do. The reason for this is premium shipping offers you 1.68 growth in the e-tailer. It also helps you to get 70% increase in your shopping cart value. Some researchers and also to our discussion with our customers, what we have found is 45% of shoppers abandon the cart because the delivery takes long. I mean, this is something that, if I'm purchasing something from your website and if I see the delivery is too long, I immediately, abandon the cart and look for an option for a faster shipping. So in order to actually arrest this, the international, you need to have a premium shipping offering in your website, so that the offers, customers today are looking for speed and reliability and, to get the shipments faster to them. So it is must today to have a premium shipping as an option to grow your business. Before so far we have seen of what are the facts that, we need to get right. So if I will look at, sharing how DHL can share some solutions and proposition that we have to help you in your cross-border business. Before I get into my proposition, here I would like to showcase a phenomenal success story of one of our customers and how their journey to e-commerce is. There's a customer called Only Mat. They are into manufacturing of jute and coir products, handloom, and various products into coir. If you look at the journey, they started in 1917 exporting business from Alleppey, the land of coir. And in 2017, they also got an award for the world's longest handloom mat. They were into traditionally B2B business all the while, and we have partnered with DHL for all this while. There was a breakthrough which happened in 2018 when the only MAT customer decide to enter into the e-commerce space. So here they set up their own brand for Indian retail and as well as for e-commerce business. They launched FBA and MFN business partnering with DHL in 2018. So what happened after that? If you look at in span of 2 years, they are able to fulfill 15,000 cross-border e-commerce orders every month, and their business is growing at 80%, and their turnover only in e-commerce business is around 10 crores. This is their turnover. So this is the kind of journey that we have seen, and we have been happy to be partnering with Only Mat, that how they were able to leverage on the e-commerce boom that they have seen, and this is the orders that they were able to manage. Well, that was a great success story. And how did we able to do? One of our proposition that we would like to share is something called CSB file. It is called Courier Shipping Bill file. Traditionally, what happens as a customer, any e-commerce business that you get a lot of orders which are small weights or small value in nature. So when you get such orders, traditionally customers move it in courier mode. There are two types of mode for export, which is courier and cargo. So currently, a lot of customers move in courier mode because they get faster transit time. It's very simpler in clearance and less paperwork. But what customers don't get is when they use a courier mode is they do not get any GST benefits, or do they get any MES benefit? And there's also no shipping bill which is getting filed. This is something a non-compliant mode of sending. But however, some customers who need a compliant mode today currently are sending in cargo mode where it is compliant mode. They get a shipping bill which is filed. They also avail the benefit of government, any export benefits which are there. They're also able to get the GST refunds. However, cargo mode is slightly slower in clearance because it's an additional 1 day to file the shipping bill here at origin. And also there's more paperwork required. Now, this has been traditionally a problem for a lot of e-commerce customers, and DHL kept talking to a lot of regulatory bodies and also to our ecosystem partners like Payoneer and other partners, discussing how we can create a solution for e-commerce specifically, and talking to customs as well. So what we be able to get a service proposition from this is something called CRB5, which is Courier Shipping Bill file. It's only specific for e-commerce shipments, where you get the best of both worlds of courier as well as cargo. This is a compliant mode. You get all the benefits, shipping bill, it's faster in time, and also there's less paperwork required. So this is something was created only for the e-commerce customers for their shipment movements, which is CSB5 mode. Some facts which we would like to share that for anybody who's getting into e-commerce is some e-commerce trend research states that 20% residential deliveries fail on first attempts. So which means that when we go for a delivery, that 20% chances that the deliveries, residential deliveries fail on first attempts. 37% recipients actually blame the retailer for poor delivery. Though the experience of delivery, last mile delivery could have been poor, but basically your consignee or the customer blame the retailers for the poor delivery. More than 50% retailers refund delivery charges. Yeah, because of the poor delivery, you end up refunding delivery charges and the result in additional cost as well. So what was the impact? The last mile basically, which impacts your business directly, where an irate end customer impacts in poor ratings for you. He ends up giving you poor rating. Then next is customers end up giving returns, a huge returns and loss of customer because you not have repeated customers coming because of the last mile impact. And also you put in additional resource for redelivery and coordination because you'll have to put in more manpower resource to check for redelivery and also coordinate in terms of the last mile business impact that you have had. So what we have seen through our experience with customers and also through research, what is the root cause for the last mile experience, which was poor? We have seen that one of the three most important factors were the consignee was not at home. So hence the first attempt delivery has failed. There's also incomplete contact information of the consignee, so that helped in the poor last mile experience. And we have seen the third one was consignee has shifted. So for whatever reason, that consignee had shifted to a new place. So that has resulted in the last mile experience because there's no intimation given. And these were the things. How do we arrest this root cause of the last mile experience? We have a service offering which is called ODD, or it's expanded into on-demand delivery. This is again an innovative solution which we have given to our customers, where your end consignee or your customer can get the control and flexibility of delivery options So how it works here is your consignee will get 6 delivery options. As soon as he gets an intimation that the shipment is scheduled for delivery on a certain date, and if for example, I'm your end consignee and I'm sitting in USA and I know that the shipment is going to reach me on so-and-so date, but in case if I'm not available on that particular date, through the 6 delivery option, you can actually, your customer can reschedule the delivery on a different date when he is available. Also, he can go and collect the shipment at the nearest service center if so he can choose that option. There's another option in case your consignee is going on a vacation, he can actually look at this other option where says that, I'm going on vacation and we can hold the shipment for a certain period. What is new that we have added into this is during the recent time is something called a no contact delivery, even for international, where we know that the customers do not want to have a physical delivery. So here there's another option in ODD where your customer can choose a no physical contact delivery where we could drop the shipment without any signature, we can auto signature. And also another option is leave at neighbor. In case the customer is sitting at office and the delivery can happen, we can always choose an option to leave at neighbor. So we can deliver at the neighbor so that here all this can actually mitigate the last mile poor delivery experience. Adding to that, in ODD, we bring you a seller logo on transport label. This is something that we can do a value add where you can brand your name by entering, your logo featuring in the airway bill and also on the shipment paperwork. We have seamless integration with our tools, with your own website and your ordering management systems. I mean, as an exporter, you could be selling it through various marketplaces, or you could be selling it on your own website. We have our systems are plug and play. Within 2 hours, we can do a seamless integration and connect with you so that you can sell anywhere and ship in one place. This is another unique proposition that we have, which is called Hybrid plus Break Bulk Express. How this exactly works, let's look at the scenario today that many of you who are selling will get an order or also getting orders today of 4 to 5 shipments or 10 shipments in a day for the USA or to the Europe. So currently what you are doing is these 10 shipments, you create 10 different airway bills, 10 tracking, 10 paperworks, and then export it out. You file these 10 shipments individually here in India at customs, where you get 10 shipping bills, and then finally it gets exported to the destination, it gets delivered. So here what we bring here is when you get 10 shipping bills, look at what happens currently. You have to submit 10 different shipping bills to the bank. You have to go and 10 different shipping bills for your GST refunds and also to avail export incentives. So there's a lot of activity which is involved and a lot of cost involved and a lot of time is involved. What we made it more simpler is what Hybrid Plus does it. We pick up these 10 shipments from you. We call it as the baby shipments. We make it under one mother shipment where we clear one single shipping bill at the origin with all the 10 shipments in it. So you get only one shipping bill. We take the mother shipment, carry it to the destination, where we deconsolidate the shipment at the destination. Could be US, let's take for example US. When we deconsolidate, we clear those baby shipments at the destination, where you can also get the benefit of de minimis there. And finally, after clearance, it gets delivered to individual receiver as per the normal process. What is the benefit of Hybrid Plus for customers who got more orders on a given day? It is cost saving because you have only one shipping bill here. So you don't have to get 10 shipping bills. You can only submit one shipping bill to the bank for your inward remittance and proofs that you had to show. You also have only one shipping bill and document to submit for any returns that you have and GST returns, that is, so that you save time and cost as well. And also just one paperwork where you can submit and you can get the export any government benefits with that. If you need any further details on how hybrid works, please do reach out to us. We'll be happy to share more information on this. We have another service offering which is called TAS, which helps you to get the landed cost service today. Like many customers who are actually buying from your website or from marketplace, they would love to know what is the final landed cost that they're paying, not only the product cost, the shipping cost, but also what are the costs at the destination. So here in trade automation service, what we call as TAS, where you can enter your HSN code and it will give you the exact details of what is the landed cost of the product. The same details of price can be incorporated into your website and shared to the seller, so that the buyer actually, when he's placing it, he exactly knows what is the landed cost here. We have something called duties and taxes paid. This is a service which is a value add, that in case you do not want any amount to be collected by your receiver, duties and taxes, nothing to be collected, only the shipment has to be delivery at the destination to your receiver, and all the duties and taxes to be billed back to you here in India. We have this service called duties and taxes that can be availed as well. And finally, we have this partner ecosystem, where you get access to the best of services from all the ecosystem partners like Payoneer and many others, that you get insights, you take part in webinars and events which is there, and we share our insights of what's happening in the industry. Like if you reach out to DHL Express for any payment gateway help, we would put you onto Payoneer, and similarly when you reach out to Payoneer for any logistics service help, they will put you onto DHL Express. So that's how we have partnered with this ecosystem, and it's working extremely well. And finally, all you have to do is to start International Express. To how to start that, you need to have an export account with DHL, one single account number. To generate this account number, all you have to do is reach out to your DHL account manager, share some of these 3 documents like KYC, GSTN, AD code, documents to them. Once this is shared, that we will then generate an account number to you, and then you can start shipping to 220 countries which we have services. You can also avail the great service network that we have and custom clearances facilities that we have across the globe. So all you need to just do is start with one export and start shipping across the world. In a summary, cross-border e-commerce is a very lucrative opportunity. Regardless of the size of the company, anybody can start. So it's the right time to start. DHL will support all sizes to power up the potential through collaborative partnerships. So we will help you to grow your businesses. And we have seen how COVID-19 has changed the global retail landscape, and building trust and loyalty is more important than ever. So it's important to have a reliable logistics partner. All you have to do is just get started. This is the right time. It's the right time. You have seen the numbers, how e-commerce business and handicraft businesses are growing in cross-border. This is the right time. Just get started, just get shipping, get the account number with DHL. We'll be happy to help. Thank you for your time and attention. Here are some of the contact details of DHL, region-wise for Northwestern India. I request you to make note of these contact details, and you can reach out to them for any support or anything related to logistics or any help. They'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Sujay, for taking us through the unique products that you have for helping the handicraft sellers. So one common question that's coming that possibly I would want to answer is how to reach out to our different partners, whether it's DHL, Purushottam, or Payoneer. So the call out is, once you'll end the webinar, you'll see a feedback form. In that feedback form, you can show your interest and you can share your details, and our partners would reach out to you based on that. So that's one. And I think our speakers have been very kind enough of constantly answering a lot of questions that we are getting in the Q&A section. What I'll do is possibly I'll take one question each, which will cover which many people are asking across each of the speakers, so that we have an answer to that. Vivek, my question to you is Payoneer helpful only for e-commerce sellers, or is it also helpful for B2B wholesale export goods?
So Payoneer would help you in getting your payments for wholesale B2B goods exports, e-commerce exports, or service exports. We would be happy to have more details on your business and assist you in this. You can fill in your details on the feedback form, or I have mentioned my mail ID also in the chat section. You can just drop me a mail and we'll be happy to assist you.
Sure, thanks a lot, Vivek. Manmohan, next question to you. I think one common set of questions which are coming are in terms of when the payment sizes are very small. I think Navid was asking this question, when the payment size are as small as about $20. What are the benefits, and how is it possible for somebody to opt in for the BRC process?
Well, I mean, wherein the payment size are small. So again, there is no such exception that you shouldn't close your shipping bill. In fact, if any amount is outstanding in EDPMS for your exports, so that may be treated as a negative kind of thing by the RBI, and you will eventually get some kind of communication from your bank to close the entry. So you should close the entry. You should, I mean, get the BRC for your payment for your shipping bills from your bank. So what I can suggest that these charges, I mean, I understand that sellers are hurt with these charges of BRCs from the banks. So the sellers can check with other banks because these charges are very variable from bank to bank, from public to private bank. So sellers should explore more banking options in that case. And then of course, shall take this cost into their pricing also moving forward.
Thanks a lot, Manmohan. Today, the question to you is that does DHL also helps in importing of goods from different vendors? I think there's one customer who's saying that they want to import their good from their vendor and then possibly ship it to different markets. Would DHL be helpful in that? Sujay, you are on mute.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, so the question is, I think there is one customer who's checking if DHL can also help in imports from different markets, from imports of raw material from different markets. He wants to use the services for importing of goods from the for different raw materials and then shipping the final merchandise to different markets.
So Vikram, sorry, I was having difficulty in hearing, but if I could hear it, it was a customer who needs support for imports of raw material from different origins to bring it to India, if that is right, because I was having difficulty in hearing.
Yes.
Yes, we can support that, yes. And if the customer could, we would be happy to get our international specialist for imports to check what is the need and what would be the requirement to start importing. And if we can get the contact details, we can definitely help them for importing, be it from anywhere in the globe, and also help them in terms of what is the need here of importing the raw materials in terms of custom clearance here at in India as well. So we'll be happy we can help.
Sure. Thanks a lot today. I think we had a lot of different domains of question, whether it was taxation, payments, or logistics, and our speakers were kind enough to answer many of these questions. Again, I would want to repeat, please share in your feedback for us to improve any aspect of content that you would want us to improve upon or change. We are happy to take your feedback. So once we close out on the webinar, you'll see a feedback form. So you can share your feedback on the form, and also if you would want any of our partners to reach out to you, also share in your details so that the partners can also reach out to you after the webinar. We would also share the recording for this webinar by next week. So those of you who have joined us late, we'll also share the feedback, the recording for the session as well. So thanks, gentlemen. It was a really nice and intriguing session that we had. We'll bring different categories in the Seller Express series. Till now, we have brought about 4 different categories, and this is a monthly initiative that we have with DHL in terms of bringing and helping categories across different domains in e-commerce as well as in B2B exports. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys attending different categories as well as seeing your feedback for this session on the content as well. So thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining in. Hope you had a good session. Thank you.